9:33 on North Dakota Today. Tea is the most popular drink on the planet, and it's been around for thousands of years. It's been used for, of course, social gatherings and medicinal purposes.
Ceremonies. Modern science is now confirming the health benefits of tea. But if you don't know much about it, as I actually don't, where do you begin? And that's what we're going to do today with a little help from Teresina Hintz from Steep Me a Cup of Tea in Bismarck. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We had no idea before you got here how much there is to learn about tea. And if you're kind of a tea novice, where do you start?
Well, actually, it's great. Come in and visit with us. We love having new people come in, talk about tea, because it's a kind of a big experience. Mm-hmm. You know, for a lot of people who are used to just knowing how to make coffee, coffee is pretty simple. Get your coffee ready and go. When you come into the tea world, we have quite a bit of a selection on the loose teas, but you're kind of looking at it going, okay, I'm kind of nervous.
Well,
what do I need to do? You know?
How did you get started with all this?
My husband and I, we started about 8 years ago, researching for 2 years, going to class for a couple years. We really wanted to bring spices to Bismarck. Have a place you could come and buy your spices and then the recipes that would go with it. Maybe they're country specific, maybe they're a certain kind of spice and all the different recipes that you could do. And because we wanted people to start making stuff at home, not go out as much. So that was really our concept at first.
All right.
Through the research of the spices, we found how many teas and spices go together. A lot of the spices Jerry would use had tea as an ingredient. So we're like, well, maybe that is something we should start to look at. And then we researched the tea side, and boy, it was phenomenal. The health benefits, the availability of all of it. And there was just nothing really close to us here.
Because it isn't just about a drink.
No.
It's about what can the tea do for you.
Absolutely. And, you know, we really started out kind of focusing on that. We started with 35 teas. Now we have about 196 because customers come back and say, I want something that'll do this for me. I want something that'll do that for me. We have a lot of people who come in who are sick. They can't sleep. You know, hey, you know, I don't feel good. My arthritis is bad. What can you do for me?
Yeah.
So we can take all of our base teas and add all of our different herbs to it to create and customize something for them that's specific.
I like that. Instead of what can it do for me? Here's what I've got happening. What do you have that can help me with that?
Absolutely. And we speak with each of our customers that way. If you come in and say, okay, I don't feel good. Okay, we kind of have a base that we can start with. Do you have a headache? Do you have a sore throat? Do you have a congested chest or full sinuses? What sorts of things are you having? And we can definitely grab our teas, make our combos, and put that together for you.
Kind of an herbalist.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, well, let's get right into this. Now, I want to go through at least these 3 samples you brought here.
Notice we have our sample.
And do a little taste test. Now, tell me what we've got here.
So the middle tea is going to be a white tea. Not many people are used to the fact that there are 5 kinds of tea. White,
just
green,
a little bit there.
There's oolong, black, and pu'er, and the same plant actually makes all those teas. It's just in the processing. White tight tea is a little bit more rare. It includes the first bud of the plant, so it has the most antioxidants, but the least amount of caffeine. Yep. And we made Dakota.
It tastes tea-ish. It tastes like, I don't know, like it's almost fruity.
Good. It's passion fruit white tea with a little bit of rose, and the beauty of that is the white tea is super light. So whatever ingredients you add to it, you'll notice those first.
So at what time of the day would you drink this?
Actually, white tea is recommended for your afternoon tea. Right after lunch, it's really good at shrinking fat cells. The antioxidants are super high to sort of energize you, get you through the rest of the day.
We want to shrink the fat cells.
Yes, we do.
Always very important.
Yes.
All right, so there's another one. So which one next?
So I didn't bring a green, an oolong, or a black, but I brought a pu'er. That's your
This is a what?
A pu'er.
A pu'er.
Yep, it's kind of a funny sounding word, but it's an excellent morning tea.
Morning tea.
It smells like almond.
Oh yeah, that one actually be our honeyed almond, so it's almond amaretto. And the reason pu'er is so pushed for your breakfast
smells.
tea. Yeah, it smells good. It's full of probiotics because it is an aged and fermented tea over 3 years.
And I can tell it's a lot less, it's a lot heavier, but full bodied.
There you go. Yep.
Than this one.
This kicks you in the pants.
Yes, it does. It gets your metabolism going, and it's really, really good for your cholesterol. Breakfast tea, meaning it because your body is becoming so energized from it, it's very important to have a little bit earlier in the day.
It's good though.
Yeah,
nice,
good.
Nice. Okay, and then finally here, what we got?
Finally, we have our version of a pumpkin spice latte.
All right, I'm just
Pumpkin spice is all
here.
over just because it's that time of year.
Here, I'll just give you that.
Thank you.
Okay.
And anytime we do any of our teas and we add milk and sweetener, of course the tea is calorie free. This one today is going to have coconut palm sugar and coconut milk.
Yum.
It's about 40 calories for a 16-ounce drink.
Oh, instead of the like 400 or whatever.
400 or 40 grams of sugar.
This says fall, this says autumn,
Absolutely.
this says comfort.
And it smells like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I know, doesn't it? And sometimes the best part about tea is not only just drinking it, but letting it sit, and it smells so good. So
Excellent. Now, this
I
is
can't
fun.
decide which one is my favorite.
Yeah, I like the kick you in the pants
I
almond
like
one.
the passion fruit.
The white tea.
Yeah, I think
Great,
that's
great.
They're all good though.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if any of our audience remembers this, but back in the 90s, there was this huge push for herbal teas. That's when they first were mass produced, I guess.
Yep.
And I was into it for a while, but then I got kind of burned out. So I guess I'm going to have to reintroduce myself to this.
Well, and that's what happens. We've all grown up with a certain sort of an experience with a tea, you know, for Monica when she was sick. For you, you guys kind of overdid it when you know, when you were younger, and that's okay. But what's nice about having a location like ours with all the tea options is you can try to reintroduce yourself to it, especially to a good quality tea. When you go through, like you went through the herbal teas that were bagged, sometimes a bag tea is not as high quality as it could be.
Okay.
So when you come in and do something that's already loose like this, you know you're getting only tea leaves. You get to make it like you want to, and then you produce a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, let's talk about this. I mean, when you talk about loose tea, tell us what you mean by that.
So tea loose comes all by itself. All the little pieces are all alone, and then you get to choose what kind you like.
And then you use a basket?
Absolutely, you can use a basket, you can fill your own tea bags, or you can use a teapot with a basket in it.
Okay, and timing I would imagine is very important. And most
It is.
people now, they do the microwave thing.
They
Most of us
do. We recommend try to do your stovetop or do electric kettle, just because your water becomes a little bit more vibrant. It'll boil up, it gives it good flavor, and makes it a little bit more alive.
Is it true that the oxygen can boil out of your water?
We've actually heard that boiling gives it oxidation anyway, so it gives it a more of a live flavor.
It,
Oh, it
it
does.
infuses it. Okay.
Yeah. And a microwave can kind of remove some of that. So, you know, if a microwave is your option, go with it. You're still making tea, but
But now, what do you look for when you've got a teapot?
for a lot of people, it's about color because this is going to sit on their
As
stove.
long as it matches
It's
your
gorgeous.
decor.
Yep, exactly.
Gorgeous.
But you know, whistling might be important for some people.
I
you
like
know?
that whistle sound because it reminds me of home.
Yeah.
Makes me think. Although I don't think my mother even has a teapot on her stove anymore, but I remember growing up with the tea and the sound of the tea. You too?
Again, that's a total grandma memory.
Totally, family memories are always
Yeah.
good.
So there's really nothing specific that you must have when you're shopping for your own tea kettle.
Honestly not. It's just something that is going to be a higher quality enamel, and that way it'll make the water correctly.
So what are you going to spend on a good quality tea kettle?
You can spend from $30 to $300 depending on the tea kettle.
It's that varied.
Yep,
Okay.
it sure is.
What is this?
So there is a certain kind of tea called yerba mate. It is a roasted tea from South America. Now this is a traditional gourd that you would make that tea in.
Oh, you actually make it in here.
So you would drop your boiling water and add your tea leaves to it.
In
and
the
then
gourd?
Inside the gourd, that's where you drink it
Okay.
from.
And then
you
this
use
you-
your special straw and you scrape the sides of the gourd to give it flavor.
Oh,
And then you drink your tea out of it. Yep.
After you've heated it.
That's all boiling and your
You
tea's in.
scrape the inside of the...
Yep.
And
That's
it
just
adds
part
to
of the
flavor.
tradition. It adds to the
Wow.
flavor. Eventually your gourd will get too thin and you have to start over.
How cool is that?
That is
kind
way
of fun,
cool.
isn't it?
And then this is like a straw.
It's a special straw because it's got the openings on the side to allow the water to come in, but the leaves stay down.
Look, I scraped it a little and
Yeah,
it does work.
You don't lick it, okay? Don't lick
I
it.
won't.
So you've got the strainer basket
Yep.
here. What else do you need to properly steep some tea?
Of course, you always a good water. You know, whether you do distilled or filtered water is a good choice. Make
Not
sure
just
it gets,
tap water.
Well, tap water is okay. It's just that it varies on a day-to-day basis sometimes. So it's good to have a good quality source that will be consistent because it will change your cup of tea for you.
Now
And
you
then-
put
Oh, go ahead.
you put coconut milk in this, right?
Yep.
There's different kinds of milks and sugars and things.
Absolutely. We try to be as healthy as possible. So we do offer almond and coconut milk for other people who can't do regular dairies, but we do have soy, whole 2%, that sort of stuff.
And then I like this. I don't know if you can get the shot of that. This is the tea timer for different types of tea. 3 minutes for light, 4 minutes for medium, 5 minutes for strong. I think this is really
So you
cool.
put your boiling water into and
And
you
then you-
steep it for this amount of time.
Yep, and the boiling
Exactly.
water only stays that way for a couple of the teas. The other, like white, green, and oolong, you do need to cool it a little bit.
Okay.
So it's important to boil it on your stove or electrically and set it aside for a few minutes. Then pour it
Fun.
over. Yeah.
Okay,
It
we
is
got
fun.
we got to wrap this up. So if anyone just has any curiosity about getting into teas, or
Absolutely.
what it can or it won't do it for them, just check in to steep me a cup of tea
come
for
on
you.
Right
down.
there
We'd love
on
to have you.
South Third.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, thank you so much for being here today, Tarsina. It
Thanks
was
for having
great,
me.
interesting, and tasted good too.
Good, glad.
All right. Well, we've got is Chef Chris coming up.
Chef Chris, we'll be right back on North Dakota Today.